Dear student, welcome to you all. So I'm going to start that chapter 1 for the class 9 unit 1. Topic is there that a principle of object oriented programming, that we start the discussion about that principles of object oriented programming. Okay, so we will discuss that principle of object oriented programming in this video tutorial. So here that given in a book, that at first the concept of that high level languages and how it is working. So we know that when we are working with the computer system, we are writing that some program. So we are writing in high level languages, and this high level languages when we write, so we need that to convert our high level languages program logic in that form that computer can understand, that means machine dependent form, because machine independent is a high level language. We are using like that, we develop that program logic without any much more knowledge of computer architecture. That's why we use only our context, our code in English language. That's why that computer needs to convert that written program into that computer understandable machine language. So that means C or C++ basic, when we are using these all high level languages that needs to convert in a computer understandable form, and it's our easier process to write the program. But previously, before high level language programming, procedure oriented approach we are using, and we are writing the program only applying that number of functions, number of tasks to perform the task in a proper way. That means work is that, process is that, to write the program only. That you see here that given procedure oriented approach is what? That means when we are writing that program or logic, so we are applying only the number of functions, okay, that we can solve the problem. So in a procedure oriented programming language we are doing this. So now we understand high level languages. What is this? So high level languages that you see here that given, so when programmer enables to write the program in a independent form, that means this is not that you see here in a picture that we are writing here that hello in English language. That means what we need, what we know in English language, we write the program code. So that means programmer needs to write in English language, no need to transfer into the computer, but computer understand that in a binary, that means machine code. So that means in machine code. So we need one translator to convert our languages into that machine understandable form. So high level languages are closer to, that you understand here, closer to human language, okay, so independent from that machine. So in such a way we can write that high level programming languages, and we are writing that we understand. Next thing is that by picture, that low level programming means binary form, that we are writing the program, we are writing that code, but high level languages we are writing near to English language. Excuse me. These code or instructions we have written, that is in the form of English language. So it's easier to learn, it's easier to understand. Now we understand in which way we are writing that in a procedure way program. So procedure oriented means we are writing that functions only, different tasks for the different functions. That means all the functions performing the different tasks. We are writing different. So I use this one eraser to erase this. Okay. Now, so all tasks performing different functions, different operations. So we need to perform only task oriented. That means we can say in such a way, task oriented. That means we have to perform only the task. Okay, you see here that in a procedure oriented what's given in a book. So computers are organize these instructions into the known as functions. That means when list of instructions together we are writing, so that with the one name, that is known as function. And in a function, so global data can be accessed by the function 1, function 4, function 2, and this another global data also can be accessed by another function. That means data is not secure. Suppose any value is here that as a global data x is equal to 5. Okay. And here in a function we are using that. So function 1 is changed x is equal to 10, and here function 4 also changing that x is equal to 20. So that means this 5 will be changed value according to the function needs. So which one data is important and which one data is needed to maintain, to write in a program, to maintain in a program, that is problem. That means data will not be secured, data will be updated by other functions. So in such a way data may lost or may ambiguity situation is there. That means data which one is correct value of x, that we don't know. Like that, that means data is accessible to all the functions. So this is difficulty of that procedure oriented programming approach. We understand with the different process, different things also, that you see here in a book given that the global data is loosely attached. That means in this problem, in this way, global data is loosely attached to the functions. That means data is not secure. So in order to make any changes, okay, in a function, you need to reschedule the associated data value. That means which one value 5 or 10 or 20, which one is needed to use in a program, that we have to reschedule. You understand here that what is that given. First point is that given characteristics emphasizing on the functions. That means how the task is performing, that is most important one. Functions can share the global data. Data value can keep floating from one function to another. You see here that given keep floating from one function to another function. That means data easily we can access from one place to another place. But what are the limitations here in a POP, that we understand. So data values are global. That means all the functions can require to make the necessary changes to all the functions. Due to any changes in the data value, so this type of data is not secure. That means it is not suitable for the complex, solve the complex program. This is not suitable. So real life situation we cannot write with the procedure oriented programming language. That means one thing is a summary way, you can say that procedure oriented, it emphasizing on the functions, not the data. Okay. We understand here that by the picture that you see here, we are doing here some banking transactions. Here banking transactions. So that means you see here that what's happening. So here withdraw we do, deposit we do, and transfer we do. That means in procedure oriented, that we need to perform the task only. That how the task is performing, this is most important. Important is not that how data will be secured, but in object oriented, so how data, that customer records or data are secured. Data is important. Okay, data is important, but here transaction in here function is important, here task is important. This is that money related records, account related records can be maintained in object oriented programming. We understand with that help of that, you understand here that given, so data is here that as an object, data and functions are together combined, and each and every communication is possible between the functions only. That you see that function can communicate with each other, and this function can communicate with the data. That means such a way that object C cannot access the data directly of the object B. So it can access the data with the help of functions only. So data will be secured in such a situation. So we understand in a future topics also that here that concepts given, that what is that purpose of that object-oriented programming. This model approach applied to that and provide that reusability of the functions and develop that program logic and productivity of these all things. But here features given here that it gives stress on the data. That means data is most important for that this purpose, and rather than function that you see here that given. But in procedure oriented, that different. It makes the complete program problem simpler by dividing into the number of objects. So real type of objects we can communicate. Objects can be used to bridge to how to data flow from one function to another. So without the data, without object, data cannot flow from one function to another. So with the help of object, so data will be secured, so data will be flow from one function to another. In which way, that is defined here. The concept of data hiding emphasizing security in programming. That means in OOPS concept, data hiding is one concept, we can secure the data. So this is most important feature, and complex program we can solve also with the help of object oriented concept. Okay, now we understand here that what is the difference. I will show you in a different ways that you see here that is given. First is that this is top to bottom approach, and this is bottom to bottom up approach. What is the top up and bottom up approach? This is the structure of writing the program, that you can say here that structure to write program. Okay, to write program. That means in which way we are writing the program, this is most important. So in object-oriented programming approach or in POP, procedure-oriented programming approach. So next point is that given it is concentrated on function. That means it focusing on the functions, but here it focusing on the data. Other thing is that data are using globally. Data are used globally in POP, but here data is used by associated functions only within the class. That means data will be more secured here. Okay, and here that you see, due to global data it is less secure. So yes, it will be, I have discussed that. And here more secured language. So that means external functions cannot access another data. Okay, so examples of that programming language: POP, that's C, Basic, COBOL, Fortran, and object-oriented programming: C++, Java, Visual Basic, Python, PHP. We have discussed in junior classes in class 7 C++, and here we are discussing Java, that means basic of Java. Okay, now we understand that. Next thing, that is same thing that we have discussed in a pictorial way that is given here. Now the concept of object, what is that object, and real world object and software object and a class. That you see that what is object, you are knowing that all the surrounding, whatever the things are there, that is data, that is object, and unique entity that we can contain the data and functions together. That means object will have the characteristics and functions. The things which is having characteristics and behavior, that is known as object. And real world object surrounding us in daily life, whatever we see that contains the characteristics and behavior, this is known as real world object. Software object then when defined in terms of Java program, while writing the Java program, that we define that object and we write that real world object as a characteristics, that is referred, the characteristics as referred as a data members. Okay, and behavior of real world objects are compared with member methods. Okay, so this is that concept that we have to understand. And group of similar type of objects is known as class. Class will define that objects only this is the blueprint, only this is the prototype, okay, of an object. That means when we define one type of class we have defined like that class car. That means one object car we can define, and that car we'll have that like that alto. Okay, this is the object, but this is object is defined as a basis of that car characteristics and behavior. Now we understand that. Next thing, object oriented programming concept, object, class, inheritance, encapsulation. These are the principles that object, class, inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction and polymorphism, that we understand. Basic concepts of this one that is related to that object. Okay, one by one we will understand all the things. That first thing is that object. When we consider the object is combination of data members and functions, that means behavior. Like that one car, we assume that car one object. So data members means what? That means model, year of manufacturing, color. And functions means what? That means start, we can move also the car, we can stop, we can on. Okay, and that means when we consider about that bicycle is also that another object. So when we consider the properties of the object will be that gear, pedal and speed. But when we consider about that object methods, that is applying the brake, changing gears, yes or no? That means these all things are that object. Now as I think I understood that you are clear about that what is the concept of object. Object will have the two things, data member and functions. Data member is the characteristics of the object and functions are that behavior, how that function behave and work. That characteristics in such a way we define and we use. Now we understand about that group of that object, that is a class. You understand here that different objects, that means one object is this, another object is this, and another object is this. That you see here three objects. So you can write that, you can consider that this is object 1, this is object 2, and this is object 3. But these all objects, object 3, but these all objects related to the class car. That means one car class having these properties and functions, having these properties and functions. That means data member and functions, and these all car having that all the properties, all the behavior of the same class. This is the concept of that class. Group of similar type of objects is known as a class. Class defines the data member and functions in a program. You see here that is Java class and object with the different class name person. That you see here that two objects of the class person, that one is that John name and that gender is male, and here another object is that name Daisy, that is gender is female. The two objects here, different objects. This is object, another object, object 1, that is person, male, and that object 2, that having that same properties but values are different. So that means this way we can understand what is that class and what is that object. You see here that same that given here, student is that class name, will have that these all properties of the students, that means these all data value we will use, and these all behavior of the student. That combination of these, one class is defined. Combination of these properties, one class is defined, and this type of class different objects may be that John, one another object, Sophia and another Lily, that three objects. That we understood that one, this one 1, 2, 3, but having that class with the properties and state and behavior. Okay, subscribe my channel dear, that you will get the time to time all the videos, and share to the needy students, and I will try to give you better content time to time. Now, principles of object oriented according to book, that is given data abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Data abstraction, that is given here about that camera. That I want to give you a very concept, that is what is data abstraction. Act of representing the essential features without knowing the background details. You tell me one thing, when you are using that camera, You are knowing how to focus on that picture with whatever you want to capture, and how to use the camera, how to click and how to capture the image. But you are not knowing internally how photograph is captured and recording in the memory chip. So that means whatever required as a camera user, you are using the camera. So for clicking the photographs, that means whatever is essential for you for knowing that how to operate the camera, you are knowing. But if any camera mechanic or any technicians that they are repairing the camera, they are knowing more knowledge, more informations about you, better than you about the camera. That means according to the user needs, we provide the data. That is known as data abstraction. Okay, one thing you understand by that. Another example. So what is that? One customer is there, and customer is going and asking to that shopkeeper, that means medical store, asking that number of strips and cost of the medicine. That you are a customer, you want to go to purchase one medicine, and you are asking their number of strips. That means you are asking that 2 strips you give me, and tablet name that paracetamol or anyone. That you are asking that you are purchasing the medicine, you require only 2 strips, and asking how much we have to pay. And that you are asking to medical hall, that total stock, purchasing cost, selling cost, all things medical hall, medical shopkeeper having. But you are only without knowing that how much they are having in total stock, where they have kept that medicine, what is that cost price of the medicine, medical owner, for the medical owner. You are asking only according to your need. So that you will need that only how much we have to pay. Okay, so whatever required to you, that is showing to you. That means you are going to access only that related things. Okay, so that means medical hall owner representing the required medicine and payment amount to the customers. So this technique is known as abstraction. Another thing, another example we take, that with that car. So one object is that car, we are driving the car. So but you understand that when we drive the car, we are going to interact with that steering, we are going to interact with that clutch, accelerator and brakes, so gear also. But we are not knowing how internally steering is working and clutch is working, accelerator is working. Internal mechanism we are not knowing. As a car driver, we are knowing how to use these all things. So these all essential things which is required to us, we are knowing, and whatever background details of these all things that we are not knowing. So this background details when we hide and we represent only the essential things, that is known as abstraction. Okay, like that one car, when you see as a car user, that you see here, any car user when see the car, they consider about that number of family members and car color, model, design, only these things. But when automobile engineers see that car, they are looking that force, engine power, these all things. Okay, power of that engine. Okay, they are considering different ways. That means different users having that different types of data required to represent or show. So data abstraction provide the facility to whatever essential to show the customers, we will show. Now you see here, you are salesman and that you consider about that car, which car you will go. But I want to show you that real life example, that of ATM. You are going to use that ATM machine and you withdraw that cash there. You are interacting with that, how to use that one, but you are not knowing how money is coming to that your money tray. So you are not knowing that much internal details, but whatever required to you, you are knowing and you are using that. Inheritance, that we understand, that in a biology we are knowing that heredity. So what is that inheritance, that we understand? Inheritance, that we are going to acquire the properties, the behavior, the characteristics of our parents. Like the same things in inheritance we are using that any properties we are going to access from our parents, like that same, that suppose any any software is working already. Okay, any software, that old software is working in a bank, in any organization, but we need to implement any new feature in that, and we are going to require new software. Okay, So we are not going to write again all the codings and new refresh software we are going to use. No, we are going to access or use, okay, old one also, old with new feature, this type of implementation of the programming, when we are going to use the code that is already available for the old software, that we are going to create a new software in such a way that we are going to use that concept of inheritance. Like the same, in such a way, when any base class, that means old class, we are reusing in this one, so this is known as derived class, okay, and this is base class. You can see in such a way, this is super class also, super, and this is sub. You can see also that parent and here child. So like that means inheritance provide the facility of reusability. That means old software, old coding, old program we can reuse as a new with a new feature. This is known as reusability. Okay, that we understand. Another concept of that inheritance, that you see here the same thing, that share some common properties of one class with another class. This is done by extending the object of one class into another class. That means same concept is that we are using. This feature is known as reusability with the help of inheritance we are doing. Okay, next concept is that polymorphism. So polymorphism also that one concept, that when any one thing is behaving, is working for different purpose. Duck is here, that symbolic notation of the duck is here different. Excuse me, that we understand here, that with that another example. Polymorphism means what? One person performing that role of the different job, doing that also. One place doing job, another place in a family doing that role of father, when is with wife, that as a husband playing the role, and when shopping in that shop customer, when you shop. That one person when performing that different role, that is known as polymorphism. That means versatile personality. Like that same thing, that you understand the different forms of same thing, that water is here as a form of solid, as a form of liquid, as a form of gas, but same thing is that here all the three forms. Like that you understand here, one function we are using volume, but this volume we are using for that cube also, we are using here for cuboid, we are using here for circle. That means when one function is using same name is there, volume, but performing that three operations, that is known as function overloading or polymorphism. Okay, that means when we write in a program such a function, that same name with a different characteristics of functions or tasks, that is known as function overloading. Okay, and this function overloading is used by polymorphism. That we see here, that the same thing is written, that overloading is defined, and that function overloading is the process to create number of functions or methods with the same name but with the different parameter or matchup with that method name to execute the program. Now we understand that encapsulation. So here that is given, that encapsulation means what? That we understand with that one example, wrapping of that data, wrapping of that method and variables as a single unit in a class is known as encapsulation. Data, functions and related data and its related functions into single unit when we wrap, that is known as encapsulation. That you see, data and functions, data means properties and function means purpose, that means functions. Okay, so that means wrapped together is known as, that you see again, computer system, that is data, motherboard, processor, RAM, and hard disk, and here the process different tasks given. That is data and functions, data and methods, and together that is encapsulated, that is known as a single unit. Okay, when we write the program of that class, you see here that data and methods, when we write in one class, and we combine together, this type of program when we write, this is known as encapsulation. Okay, so in this encapsulation, method is defined to access the data. Okay, that means data will be secured in this process. Now we understand that here that you see three different objects here. The source code of the object can be mentioned independently, and we are writing that and wrapping that one data and functions are going to interact. This function is going to interact with this function, and that function will interact with the data. Okay, so this is known as encapsulation. Thank you, my dear, in this video tutorial, and I hope so you have understood something, and I will provide you time to time all the videos. So subscribe the channel and like and share to needed students. So thank you.